Welcome to the corporate reporting course. My name's Kieran Doe. I'm a senior tutor at ACA Masters and multiple ICAEW prize winner, and I look forward to getting you through your CR exam with top marks. So the course is structured based on the exam questions in the CR exam. So in the exam, you'll have questions on financial reporting, audit risks and procedures, other audit questions, including use of the data analytics software, financial statement analysis, and ethics. So question 1 will be entirely financial reporting based, whereas questions 2 and 3 will have financial reporting and audit. And of course, question 2 will require use of the data analytics software and be based on the advanced information. Financial statement analysis and ethics can appear in any question. So our course is structured around the exam because it's a very exam-focused course. So the way we structure the course is that we break it down into each examinable area, topic, and question type. So we'll firstly work through all of the various financial reporting topics, and we'll look at financial reporting and audit risks and procedures questions. So we'll firstly begin with assets. So there'll be the FAR revision class, and then there'll be the CR class on assets. So the way that the classes are structured is I'll firstly teach you the key technical content in a nice, easy to understand, simplified way. Immediately after, I'll then go to some recent exam questions and work through the question to demonstrate how to apply that technical content in the exam. So as soon as I've taught the technical content, I will immediately demonstrate how to apply that in an exam context by working through recent exam questions. So not only does this allow me to demonstrate how to apply that content to practical scenarios, it enables me to teach you the optimal exam technique to use in the CR exam for each question type. So this will include how to read and interpret the requirements so you can identify the best way to approach the question to see if there's an opportunity to answer several parts of the question simultaneously. I'll explain how to allocate the marks to each requirement so that you can estimate the time you should spend on each requirement. So then once we've identified the best way to approach the question, we'll then be able to read through the information actively, and I'll be explaining how to identify which piece of information is relevant to each requirement and how to integrate this information into your answer and the key points in the question which you should develop points from. I'll then produce my answer to the question so you can see me work through the question in full, and I'll be able to demonstrate the types of points you should include in your answer, the writing style you should use, how to structure your answer as a whole, how to answer several parts of the question simultaneously. So it's important to note that the answers in the back of the ICAEW question bank aren't what students are expected to produce. They're far too detailed, and whilst they're a very useful resource because they give comprehensive explanations, you aren't expected to produce that level of detail. So as we go through the questions, you get to see my answers to the questions, and that is something which you should be aiming to produce in the exam. So I'll teach you how to answer the question concisely and effectively to ensure that you pick up all of the marks for the question. So by the end of the course, you would have seen me work through questions on every topic, every question type, so you'll be very clear on what you need to produce in the exam. So as I said, each class is structured in that there's a technical tuition part where I simplify the technical content, but perhaps most importantly, you get to see me apply that content when working through and answering questions. And I can teach you the optimal exam technique to use and demonstrate that optimal exam technique to use for each type of CR exam question. After the class, you can then go away, make sure you've understood that key technical content, and you can also go and practice other questions which examine that topic. So as we said, we'll start with assets. I'll teach you the key technical content for assets. I'll then work through a series of questions on assets, showing you how to apply that content in the exam and the exam technique to use. After the class, you can go away and make sure you've understood that technical content. And then most importantly, you can go and practice some other questions on assets so that you can practice that exam technique that I have demonstrated. So you'll then go away, make sure you've understood all of this key technical content. So if you're also using our materials, which are designed to be used in the exam, you've got all of the technical FR content for each topic concisely summarized in the materials. And then you've also got audit risks and procedures as well for each topic area. So you can then go away, make sure you've understood this content, and then you can go and practice the other questions. So you can see here highlighted in bold the questions which are covered as part of the video course. You'll see me work through all of these questions, and then you'll be very clear on the exam technique to use and the technical content. So you can just go away and then practice the other questions so that you can practice applying that exam technique that I taught you during the class. And then once you've done that and you've practiced those other assets questions, you then will have mastered assets. And then we can move on to the next topic. So we can then move on to revenue, but we're just using the same approach every time. So during the class, I'll teach you the key technical content in a nice, easy to understand way. I'll then work through some recent questions on revenue, showing you how to apply that content in the exam technique to use. You can then go away and practice the other questions and make sure that you've understood this key technical content. So again, I'll work through several questions. You can then go and practice the other questions. And you can see we're just breaking CR down topic by topic, covering both FR and audit risks and procedures. So after assets and revenue, we'll then look at provisions, financial instruments, hedging, all of the main topics which are examined in the CR exam. Leases, share-based payments, pensions, tax, of course, including deferred tax, everybody's favorite topic. And then we'll also look at groups. So for all of the topics, there's the main class where I teach the key technical content and work through some exam questions. Then we've also included some additional questions as well, where I just work through even more questions. You can just see me working through even more questions on each of the topics. So that's not essential viewing because that's included here. But if you want to see me work through even more questions, then you can. And by the end of the course, we've probably covered the majority of the recent exam questions. So we'll just be taking it one topic at a time. You'll just be mastering one topic at a time. I'll be simplifying the technical content so it's easy for you to understand. And you'll find that greatly helps with topics like financial instruments, deferred tax, those more technical, trickier topics. Most importantly, I'll be demonstrating the exam technique to use, so you'll be clear on how to answer questions, and then all you're doing is going away and applying that exam technique that I've taught you and understanding those technical principles that I've taught you and applying that to exam questions, and then you will, of course, have mastered the topic yourself. So you'll go through FR, audit risks and procedures for all of the topics first of all. We'll then move on and we'll start to look at some of the other audit questions and the data analytics software. So again, a few more videos on those. Weaknesses in audit work is quite common. Then we'll look at some other audit questions as well. But same approach, I'll teach you any key technical content and then work through some exam questions. And again, same approach with the data analytics software. So I work through several of the recent questions in full. So these are past exam questions, so the most relevant questions to be focusing on rather than questions which weren't past exams, such as the elephant mock exams, for example. So therefore, these are the best questions to focus on because these are real exams. So in these videos, I'll work through the advanced information for this exam and the 11-month data set, identify all the relevant FR and audit issues, and then I'll work through the actual exam as well. So I can demonstrate how to use the AI analysis, but also, as equally importantly, if not more so, how to use the 12-month data set and the additional information in the exam to answer the exam question. So you'll see me produce answers in full using Inflow. So I'll be able to demonstrate how to use Inflow effectively and quickly, and how you should kind of integrate the information in Inflow into your answer. So how you should combine the advanced information, data and narrative, and the month 12 data and the exam paper information, how you should combine the information to answer the specific requirements that the examiners have asked for. And as always, I'll be writing answers out in full so you can see exactly how you should be structuring your answer. It's a very important skill. Exam technique is absolutely crucial in all the ACA exams and particularly important in the CR exam. So I'll work through 3 inflow questions in full. And then you've also got the AI analysis for some of the more recent ones here as well. So you can then just go and practice the exams for those as well. But certainly the first one is essential viewing, but the others is kind of up to you how much time you want to spend. I appreciate that these are past AIs and you might not think that it's that useful to do them because your AI is on a different, will of course be on a different business. But what you're really doing here is building up the exam technique skills. Yes, your exam isn't going to be on your Panther or Gazelle, but you're developing the exam skills of how to analyze the AI, how to use the month 12 data set, how to answer the question in the exam. And that is, an absolutely crucial skill. So you'll then be able to apply that when your live advanced information comes out and you go into the exam on that. So these are really useful to do, and you certainly shouldn't dismiss them because they're based on past businesses. I mean, when you think about it, all of the questions are based on different businesses. Go to the recent exam questions, you're still going to attempt those questions. You wouldn't dismiss this question because your actual exam will be on a different business. So that's like that all of the time in the ACA. You still practice the past questions, even though they're different scenarios and you'll be examined on. So this is absolutely a good use of time working through the past AI and answering the questions which were based on the inflow dataset. So then when your live advanced information is released, there'll be a video added to the video course, which you will have access to. So these will be released depending on which exam you are sitting, but released several weeks before the exam, where similar to these advanced information analysis, I'll be working through the AI, identifying the key financial reporting and auditing issues coming from that. And of course, if you've practiced these ones, you'll be quite familiar with the process. And of course, you'll be able to see how the AI develops into the exam as well. So another good reason why these are good practice, because they'll help you think more exam focused, in a more exam focused way when looking at your live advanced information. So the AI analysis video is included as part of the course, a part of the video course, because it is of course a video. So we'll just add that on for students using the video course, but all of our PDF materials are sold separately, including the AI analysis document. So then finally, we'll finish off with those 2 kind of smaller type of questions, really, financial statement analysis and ethics. But again, similar exam technique. I'll explain any technical content you need to understand, but then work through recent exam questions. So you can see me working through several questions there, both from kind of a management perspective, analysing the performance and position of the company, and then from an auditor's perspective, using analytical procedures to identify risk or as procedures. And then again, with ethics, work through some questions so you can see the exam technique to use, and then you can go away and practice some other questions. So you can see how we've really broken CR down based on the types of questions that you get in the exam and on the topic areas. So this makes it much more manageable. So I'll teach you key technical content for each topic, work through some exam questions so you can see exactly how to answer the question, exactly what you should be producing in the exam to score top marks. And then all you'll be doing after watching the class is then going away and practice the other questions, which are all listed out in our materials, which are available in the ICAEW question bank. And by doing this for each topic, it enables you to just focus on one topic. It makes it much more manageable, and you're mastering that topic. You're doing everything you need to for that topic. You're understanding the key technical content, and then most importantly, you're applying it to exam questions so that you're actively testing yourself on that content, but you're actively testing yourself in the exact scenario you are going to be tested in. So you're preparing for the exam in the scenario that the exam is actually going to be in. And therefore, you'll develop your exam technique skills so that you'll be able to produce answers like this. And by practicing lots of questions and starting them early in your preparation, you'll start to see the way the questions are structured, the type of points the examiners include, some of the similarities and recurring themes in some of the questions, the way they're structured. And this will enable you to get up to exam standard really quickly, so that you can get a feel for how the course is structured and my teaching approach. We have a free sample class available on the CR page of the ACA Masters website. So here you can watch me work through an exam standard question. So this class is an additional question on financial instruments. So that's after the technical class on financial instruments, but there's a brief technical recap there. And also you get to see me work through a question so you can see the ways that the classes are structured and the exam techniques which are taught. To get some insight as to how the course has helped other students, we have some student feedback below. Lots of students struggle with the CR exam, but they find that this exam technique focused approach has really helped them. So after failing, they've then drastically increased their mark after using the course. As I said, we've got lots of useful advice in here as to how you should structure your answer, how to allocate the marks, how to answer several parts of the question together, and how to present your answer. So CR is undoubtedly a really tough exam, but this exam-focused approach has proved hugely successful for past students, and I'm confident that it will prove highly successful for you too. So I'm very much looking forward to getting you through your CR exam with top marks.